Hollow TV. I am Mary Beth.
I'm Helen.
We are the creative hands and minds behind Toad Hollow. And look, we haven't disappeared. We're still here. We are coming to you from the house of, I don't know what hair. Honestly, the hair is doing its thing today. And we're just letting it. We're letting it do its thing.
I thought you were going to say the house of the waterfalls.
There's that too. You might notice that there's a roll of batting behind us that is not normally in picture. However, its resting place,
Waterfall.
Inside.
Crafty castles.
Oh my goodness. This past weekend it rained a lot. And we found all
Inside
the places.
and out.
We found all the places that it leaks. So there was a lot of running around and laying of towels.
Goldberging.
Catch-alls.
Catch-alls. Can't just be a simple drip where you can put a bucket underneath it. No, it's got to be all the way up against the wall or in a windowsill. It's just...
Oh, it was fun. Yeah. It was really fun. So one of the things we get to look forward to today is a visit from the roofer who is going to come and tell us how much it's going to cost to fix all these holes.
The good news is it's no longer raining and that the roofer's welcoming committee can spend the time outside.
Yes.
So
because it's not a good day when Hugo has to spend the day inside.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to go out and run and be out.
He was really much better than I expected, having been cooped up for 2 days. So
yeah,
he was really
very good. But it was rough on him.
Yeah. We have a neighbor who stopped by the other day to introduce us to his new puppy. Sheepadoodle?
Yes.
A mini sheepadoodle. She's adorable. But I was saying that I had just been thinking the other day, ooh, puppies. But then, we just kind of got over puppyhood with Hugo, and he's starting finally to settle in and become a little bit of an adult. And he's like, well, how old is he? I'm like, he's just over 1.5 years. And he's like, 1.5 years? It's not going to take that long. Oh, Sam.
Yeah. You're adorable. Actually,
I'm like, the Great Pyrenees do mature a little bit slower than everybody else. But
for Zelda, it may be that she is, she's part Old English Sheepdog, part miniature poodle. So
she's up in the brains department, just for starters.
Yes. And I am not going to say that Hugo is dumb, because he is not.
No, he's not.
Stubborn? That I'll give him. He is very stubborn. So, but it's okay.
He has a mind of his own.
He's a cool guy.
Yes.
We like him. All right. So, we haven't been around the last 2 weeks. Kind of a rough go. We had some things we had to take care of, but they're done. Hopefully, that's over. We can move on.
Yeah.
So, we have been getting some crafting done, even though we haven't been online.
Right. That
we wanted to show you. And some of it is...
it runs the gamut.
Yeah.
I've got knitting, I've got hand sewing, I've got sewing.
I've got a new project that I started. I've got a bag that I'm working on, so that I'm working my way through the kinks of that. And I've got some knitting that I've been doing also. And also I finished 3 new market totes that we're going to put up on the shop. So, we've got a whole bunch of things to show. The only thing, poor cross stitch.
Yeah.
No showing on cross stitch yet. I've been doing mostly knitting.
It's just been a rough couple of weeks, and cross stitch requires a little more concentration than I'm willing to give right now. At that particular time, I would be cross stitching. So,
right.
But a couple admin things.
I was going to say, we do have a couple of announcements.
Right.
So,
first off, most of you know, I hope know, we are not going to be at Maryland Sheep and Wool this weekend. When we moved in to help with my mom in November, we canceled all of our shows for 2023, knowing that we would not have the space or capabilities to produce for show level.
Right.
But some people do not know, because people have been asking me where we're going to be, if we're going to be there. Are we going to have a special color? Are we going to have a special bag?
Sadly, no.
No.
Not this
we
year.
had contemplated possibly, even though we weren't going, doing something, a bag or something, but
it just isn't going to happen.
April just...
Nope.
Yeah. So no Maryland Sheep and Wool, sadly.
We will not be going ourselves either.
Right.
It's just not a good time for us
Yeah.
right now. So
Maybe towards the fall shows, we can actually like go to the shows and not vend at them, but maybe go to them. But we'll have
see.
to see where we.
who knows what's going to happen between now and then. Okay,
I could be living in a cardboard box by then.
right. But we'll just move the cardboard box outside of Lambertville and
Right.
it'll be fine. It'll be cool. With everything that's been going on, we have been doing a lot of
Thinking, changing our thought process,
right?
deciding how we're going to make things work here, what work entails.
What is going to happen with Toad Hollow?
Right. So the initial, we don't know the answer to any of those questions.
One of the things we do know is
We're going to scale back.
with everything that's been going on, we need to take a step back. We need to take a step back and give ourselves some space. And we're going to be continuing podcasting and doing things like that, but Toad Hollow is going to be taking a huge step back because it's just, we got overwhelmed completely. So,
and we continue to order inventory as if we weren't.
right,
So,
because we got really excited about the inventory.
and you tell yourself, because especially with fabric, you order the fabric 6 months in advance. You find out like Tula Pink just released her newest fabric line, Besties, in April, but it's not going to ship until October. So you have to make a decision in April if you're going to order it.
And decisions that we made last October before we even knew that we were coming up here are now
Right.
coming.
And we made decisions in January and to purchase things, and it's just, it was like the easiest decision was go ahead and buy it.
Right.
We don't know what we're doing. We'll just go ahead and buy it. We'll worry about it when it comes. But now we've decided that that's not the best plan.
As the piles of fabric start tumbling onto us.
And that's part of it, is we do not have the space for all the fabric.
Or the mind space for it, because
Right.
when you have so much stuff, you just get so overwhelmed that you don't do anything with it. We're kind of at that point now where you don't even know what to do.
No, you just
Because-
stare at things.
Right. So one of the things that we knew we had to do is we had to stop having the new stuff come in so that we could figure out what we're doing with the old stuff.
Right.
Um,
And determine how we're going to, and that's where we don't know the answers to, is, how are we going to sell the fabric that we have? Are we going to sell it by the yard? Are we going to sell it in finished form? Are we going to do a little bit of both? Kits, blah, blah, blah. So we just have to figure all that out and stop the hemorrhaging first.
right. Also, decide which way you want to go and then put all your focus into it, because right now we're scattered all over the place. And the past month has not helped because that was pulling us in other directions. And it's just now we're starting to move forward where we can start focusing on what we're doing in the fabric and what we're going to do with it.
But we still have outside forces
Yes.
that we did not have before, that we have to take it into consideration for our work thing. And also, we're 2 people.
Yeah. No matter how many times I yell at them, the dogs refuse to sew.
Right.
So it's just,
And the elves refuse to show up.
oh my God, they're on strike. We have done something to piss off the Fae. Anyway. So all that is leading up to, we have now canceled all upcoming fabric
Right.
that was going to be shipping over the next several months. And this is including the Queen of Diamonds quilt. So if you were looking forward to doing it and getting it from us, I'm so very sorry. We canceled it.
I do know several other places that do have some available, so that if you were looking forward to purchasing it and joining in with the block of the month, just give us send us a message and we will point you in the right direction.
Okay.
So that we'll try and get you a kit. But yeah, that was just that was a future thing. So we severed all.
Yeah. And Free Spirit has been so very
Right.
kind in working with us as far as canceling everything and not
Penalizing us.
in any way. We also canceled Tula Pink's Besties and her Deja Vu, which is supposed to come in July.
Which is kind of like, it hurts a little bit.
We just figure we're going to buy for ourselves, not get the whole bolt. And upcoming Halloween fabric and that kind of thing, that has all been canceled.
But April, it's okay.
We have
Halloween covered.
Yeah. We've got lots and lots of Halloween fabric from last year.
Right.
And the year before. And the year before that. So
Halloween is covered.
Good.
Yeah. And it's Halloween you haven't seen, so
it'll be good. It'll be good. So okay, so we wanted to let you guys know about that. That was the big thing because it's not right now we can't have anything else come in.
Yeah, and we've just giving ourselves a break.
Yeah.
Both literally and, mindset wise, it's okay.
Right. All right. So let's get on to happier thoughts and talk about things that we've been working on. What do you want to do first? I think that's a very good idea because
the Hollow has a new resident.
He's got a fuzz. Okay.
His name is Winston.
He's so awesome.
And he's just unbelievable.
He's a turtle.
In a romper.
She made him a romper.
His romper comes off. His romper's also, he's very self-conscious. He has a bit of a Gus moment with his romper. We have to put that down.
Oh my God, he's so awesome. I love him so much.
This is the Jody Turtle pattern by Cynthia Valet. She did Sadie and Sorry, the bunny, and the little mouse I have. I just adore him.
So do I.
His romper completely comes off. It's a whole garment I knit. I said to Mary Beth at one point, I am knitting a little romper on size 1 needles with cables for a stuffed turtle.
Because of course you are.
But he's awesome. And I love her patterns because you start with 3 stitches at the tip of his nose and you just knit along. You never have to sew anything except to close up his bottom. But you have like a tiny little gap when you're done. You pick up the arms and the legs as if you're picking up sleeves, and you knit them. So it's all one piece. He's fabulous.
He is.
So he joins these guys. So we have a whole little gang coming along.
Yeah. So very cool.
And I'm in the middle of knitting Winston a friend. So this is what brings me joy right now, making little stuffies.
What's not to bring joy?
Right.
Honestly.
I mean, look at these guys.
They're so cool.
So
Very,
that is
very
my
cool.
knitting.
My knitting has been my habitation throw that I started way back when, and I was knitting our collections of minis. This was originally designed by Helen Stewart to be done with Advent minis, and I did them with mini collections. And here we go. You can see. I've gotten down to where I am working to close up the last corner. So that is what it is looking like right now. I am to the point where I am going through it fairly quickly. I've gotten myself down to...
Boy, your rows are really small now.
Yeah, my rows are right around 100 stitches right now. So
Okay.
and I'm decreasing every other row, so it's coming down. So yes,
It's gorgeous.
it is beautiful. It really is. The colors are so pretty. I have to weave in all my ends, but that won't take terribly long because I magic loop it, so I just have to weave it in 1 or 2 stitches and then snip it.
It's also the perfect potato chippy knitting, right?
It is, because 9 rows are garter stitch, and then the 10th is the eyelet, and really it's very, very simple. So it's the perfect thing. I picked it up in the hospital at the end because I'd finished my sweater, and then I picked up this because it was easy to do and remember. And let's see, I think I picked it up.
You had just started the decreases, right?
Yes, I was just finishing up Snow White. So I picked it up there, and then I've done all this since then.
So from here
all the way down.
You're gonna have a blanket just in time for 90 degrees.
Right. It's beautiful though.
However,
so
it will
pretty.
be perfect for cool summer nights kind of thing, just
Yes.
as something to throw over you.
Yes, because you're in shorts or a shorter skirt, and
Right.
your legs may be a little bit chilly.
In the air conditioning.
But this is how wide it is. And I think it's going to be like close to a square.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
Oh my God, look at it.
It's so pretty. It's just such pretty, pretty colors.
Gorgeous.
I mean, we dye good yarn.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on. And it's just keeping me going. It's the perfect size. I was worried that it wasn't going to be big enough, but it's going to be.
Oh, no, I was watching
size.
you pull it out of the bag, and I'm like, no, you're good.
It's going to be really a very, very good size for a lap blanket or throwing around your shoulders if you're sitting outside and it gets a little chilly type of thing. And you can even turn it into, if you fold it in half like a triangle, then you can turn it into a giant wrap that you just wrap around your entire body.
Yeah.
So that's my knitting. What's next? Shall we do bags?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I have been working on the booklet pouches. This was my first booklet pouch that I made. It's a pattern by Anila Hui. It's got a zipper on top. Separates. And then you have 4 pouches inside. And this is my English paper piecing bag that I use. These are all my tools. You see I've got my pen and my glue sticks. There's a pair of scissors in there. Extra sew tights, which are the magnets. Here are some more sew tights. This is thread and needles for when I start hand stitching my mandolin quilt. And then I have in the other 2 pockets the paper pieces for the project I am currently working on, which we will get to at a later date. But I did this last year, probably.
2 years ago, last year, we didn't do very much.
Yeah, okay.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, just as something for me. And I love it. I use it constantly. So I decided to make some to see if I could perfect it to sell. So I went through.
You started by making it as a gift for someone.
Right. So I made 2 of those. One went off as a gift, and
The other one, Mary Beth stole.
the other one Mary Beth took, and she's using it for cross stitch, right?
Yep.
So she's got all her cross stitch stuff in the pouches. So, feeling like I am now an expert on it, I saw I was cutting fabric for an order, and included in that order was the panel for Art Club, which is the Anita Drem fabric line. And I realized that the panel squares were the perfect size to be the front and back of a booklet pouch.
Oh my God. Can I just tell you? It is an absolute miracle that these are still around and
Yes.
that I have not stolen them.
This is part of the reason why we're doing them on the podcast today, because I'm going to take them. So that's one of them.
Oh my God.
So you've got this side.
Honestly.
And then that side. And then this is the other one that I did. That. And then you have that. And what I have since done is, now the zipper now, instead of getting tucked in, it's just it extends a little bit beyond, so that it's a little bit easier to open and close. And inside on both of them, that's the inside panel. And then these are your pouches. So you've got the mouse toss is one. Another mouse. Oh. Okay. Mouse toss, then the art supplies. Another mouse toss. And the art supplies in a different color. And then again, that's the back. So these are going to be available in the shop for sale.
These
It
can
is
be
just
used
one
for
of each.
So many
Yeah.
different things. These can be used for art supplies. Have your pens and your pencils and your erasers and all stuff like that.
All your
And-
journaling stuff.
Right, a journal tucked in. They can be used for cross stitch, for just about any kind of project. They're also really good for if you wanted to use them for your circular needles.
Right.
You can have 1, 2, and 3 in one pocket, 4, 5, and 6 in another, and so on. So tons and tons of uses for them.
Right.
They're really, really good. They also are really good for like book journaling. If you do book journaling where you have your Post-its and your notes and that kind of thing, you can put them all in the different.
If you annotate all your little flags and stuff like that.
They're interfaced with a very, very stiff interfacing, so it's almost like a book cover, not
Right.
quite a hardcover book, but kind of like a hardcover book, so that if you want them on your shelf, you can have them standing up like this. It's got enough strength so that it can stand up like this, and you have this on the edge, or you can lay it down like this and have it like that.
Right.
All different things.
I mean, with these, I kind of think you want them.
Well, yes. It's just which side do you put
I mean,
the
I
front and the
love
back
these
on.
fabrics. So right now we have one of each of these. So you have those, and then I was cutting the Belle Epoque fabric for somebody, and I thought, these are just going to be gorgeous for a book pouch. So we have the Belle Epoque. And your inside panel is the butterflies. And then you've got the weeping willows with the cats.
It'll show better on the other side.
There you go. What I did not realize when we bought the fabric is this is the silhouette of a face, a lady's face, and this is her hair. You can really see it here. And then the teacups.
They are so gorgeous.
This fabric line is just. So I have two of these. They're both the same. So we have the two art ones and the two Belle Epoques. And they're up in the shop now because that's kind of the way we're going to go, rather than doing up a whole bunch of one thing. As we get things done, they're going to go up in the shop.
Right.
So, And we have lots of different bags we want to try. I have lots of ideas for other ones of these that I see the fabrics and I think, oh, that would be really cool as a book pouch.
Right.
Tula's fabric lends itself, I mean,
Beautifully to it.
the Everglow, the lion right here,
Oh,
or the elephants. So, yeah, there will be more of these, but for right now, we've got the 2 Bella Pox and the 2 Art Journal.
yep.
So,
They're,
those are my bag makings.
yeah, they're really, really cool. All right, so I have 3 new
Market totes.
market totes that are available. These are in the Rural Fantasy line. So we have this one. And they all have the garden materials on the inside. We have this one with the bicycles. And then the background fabric is bluebirds. And then this one is different rural fantasy scenes. And it's got the green trees in the background because you have the green tree here, the leaves.
And they all have the butterfly handles.
So these are just like our other market totes. They've got 4 great big pockets going around the outside, a huge pocket on the inside. This is perfect for taking to the farmer's market.
Not a pocket on the inside, just a huge
Oh,
inside.
a huge inside. It's not a pocket, it's just the inside. Perfect for taking to the farmer's market, and they've got really nice long handles. They fit over your shoulder beautifully, and then you can tuck all your stuff inside that you bought, and you have a pocket for your keys and phone and that sort of stuff.
Right. So these are in the shop too, one of each of these.
Right. So those are available. They're listed under market totes. Helen's pouches are listed under zippered pouches. Is that
Book
it?
pouches.
Book pouches listed under book pouches.
They're all under the heading of project bags along the top of our front page of our website. And I will also have on the front page, one of the banners will be that collection.
Okay.
The project bags. So
Okay.
you can get right in them.
And then my other project that I was working on back when I thought that I might be doing the Queen of Diamonds, I made myself it's called an EPP Epic bag, case, right?
Right, Epic case.
And it's by Chasing Tigers is the woman who designed it. I chose to do this in it's Moon Garden, but what is it? It's something bloomin'.
I don't know.
Okay, it's the large flowers in Moon Garden, and look at the bee. I
The
adore
bee
the
is my
bee.
favorite.
I really love him.
I have to do an English paper piecing project where he gets to be the focus of something.
He's amazing. So I did that, and then I did the ladybugs inside from Tiny Beasts. And the great thing about this is it's got...
We're working through prototypes right now of this to see.
This is part of the problem, is I didn't do the zipper properly, so it doesn't open all the way. But it's got a pouch back here that's mesh that you can put your paper pieces or your thread if you want.
I was going to say it's perfect for Aurifil threads to go across the back.
Right. And then you've got a vinyl pocket here that's great for putting your pattern in and your paper pieces if you need that. And then the bottom is just a wide open space so you can put your finished project down there or whatever you're working on. If you're doing a block, you put the block in progress and the finished blocks underneath, that sort of thing. So it's a great thing to work with English paper piecing or something that works with smallish blocks, like a quilt, where you're doing the different blocks for a quilt and then you need some place to put them all until you're ready to go.
So show the handle.
So this is the way it is. It's got, I used the nylon webbing from Tula Pink for the handle. And then I used tiny dots and hexies for the
This is,
binding and everything.
Geodes.
Oh, okay, the geodes, the tiny geodes, also from Moon Garden. My binding is a little bit wonky on this one because it doesn't open up all the way because I did the zipper wrong. So I have to get the zipper right, and then it should open up more so that it'll be easier to do everything else.
Also, you said you were gonna, because she gave you the option of interfacing or not interfacing the panel,
Right.
the zipper panel, and you said you're gonna do that.
So
So it's
this,
not so floppy.
I didn't interface with batting the way, or with foam, the way I did the top part. I did not interface this. It's just got regular medium weight interfacing that we have on our bags, and it's kind of squishy. Great for storing if you're wanting it to lie flat, but when you put stuff in it, I think you want a little bit more stability there, so I'm going to make sure I put foam on that. So there are different things that I need to work on. This is the first one I did, and you know, the first time you do anything, it's trial and error.
It's very disappointing that it's not perfect when it comes out.
I know.
And
It's
I am
really-
disappointed every single time.
However, it's still a really, really good bag, and I plan to use it. It's just not quite there yet.
Right.
So I will continue working on it and working with beautiful fabric until I get it right.
I plan to have lots of English paper piecing projects going at one time, so you can
Right.
you can just make me them.
We'll have.
I will
bags for
take
them.
all the prototypes.
Yeah.
So
I actually think it's going to be a good thing for my sunrise quilt. I think it's going to be a good
Yeah.
thing for holding the pieces, the finished blocks in.
yeah.
So yeah, that's where I am with that.
On. As I mentioned when I was showing the book pouches, I have started a new English paper piecing project. Since I finished my mandolin quilt, I have started Tula's Bloomers. And I decided I was going to start Tula's Bloomers to see Hugo picked it for me. And then came the age-old problem of what fabric am I going to use?
Right.
That took a long time, especially since my brain wasn't working. But then Everglow arrived, and I decided, okay. So hers is done in the brighter rainbow colors. So I'm going to do mine in color blocks akin to this, but they're going to be more neon.
For those of you that don't know, Everglow is Tula's latest release. Tula Pink is the designer of the fabric, and it's all jungle animals, and it relies heavily on neon,
Yes.
which is not normally our choice.
No, but so you start off making. See how each of these sections, there's a star that's the center of each of these sections. And then there are like 4 or 5 different designs of the stars. And one of them, this one up here, the centerpiece of the star is a 2-inch hexie, which is perfect for fussy cutting some of the bigger prints of Everglow. So the pattern calls for 5 of them. So that's where I started, was to pick the 5 stars, and then I've picked the star itself, the fabrics for that, and then these hexies that go around the star.
Sorry for the break. There was a strangled cry coming from outside, and I wanted to make sure that Hugo was not stuck in the fence. So.
He was not.
He was not. He is up.
Now he would like to come inside. Hold, please. So this is the one that I'm doing. I decided to do, I did the 5, I chose the fabrics for the 5 bloomers, essentially, that have the 2-inch center, because that was the easiest thing to figure out. And then what I will do from there is decide what colors will be, see these stars that surround the bloomer, or the bloom. So I'll decide whether I go solids the way she's done, or whether I go with like tiny dots or something. It'll all be Tula Pink True Colors. So here is, that's one of them. So I did the giraffe, and then this is one fabric, this is another fabric, and then you've got the stripes. So you can see the neon.
You did a great job of fussy cutting those dots for the polka dots.
Worked very hard on those.
It shows.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good.
And what here, I should use it, show the fabric.
Okay, hold on.
So the giraffe obviously came from the giraffe, but the polka dot, there's a polka dot. These are the 4 fabrics that I used for that block. So you have the giraffe. You have the stripes. They're the fairy flakes. And then the polka dots. And I thought, ooh, polka dots. I'll do polka dots going around. Going around the giraffe. But the polka dots are too big for this piece. But the fairy flakes have little polka dots all throughout them. So that's what I use for the fairy flake. And then this, the top, the triangle, is the background of the polka dots. So I haven't actually used the polka dots yet. So they may figure into some of the outside of the block as well. But so that's the giraffe. Got the elephant. And guys, I mean, look at that. This lion
Is unreal. Oh my God.
And then the 5th one, I've done the star in the middle, is the giraffe in the purple.
Oh, he's beautiful.
So the giraffe fabric has 2 different,
Each of the animals in this line, there are 8 different mini collections within the collection. There are 4 animals in 2 different colors. So these are the 2 for the giraffe.
so you have him head on, and then he had a sideways look. So I made sure to get the sideways look on the second one.
And the same with the lion. Are they facing opposite directions? Is that it?
Nope, the
Nope,
lions,
they're the
the
same.
lions are the
Okay. So, but again, you have the orange and then the green
same. Right.
for the lion.
So then I just have to decide as I'm coming out, am I going to come out all in green, or do I want to have a contrast color to really highlight the bloom? That will all come further down the line because I will work through all of the blooms first and then decide what the backgrounds of them will be.
Yeah, because I could see if you did it that when you were doing the blooms, if you say had a reddish one here and a yellowish one here, using true colors, that's a mixture of the red and the yellow, so
Right.
you go from the red to the yellow type of thing. But before you do that, you're going to have to lay out all the blooms and know exactly
Right.
where everything's going to be.
And then, just decide, do I want to, like here, I could pull the pinks out of this one and go pinks and reds around the outside.
Right.
There are a million different options.
It would be really, really pretty.
Yeah. So right now, just working on the blooms. Love this fabric.
It's really, and I would never have picked us for liking neon fabric.
No. And I will probably, especially since the True Colors do not do neon solids or anything like that, this is the only neon in the True Colors. I will use more brighter things to tone down the neon a little
Right.
bit. But so the next bloom that I'm going to do is a smaller center, and the hippo works perfectly for that. He will be figuring into, that's where because he's the animal that's missing
Okay.
from the collection. So he'll be in another bloom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So current DPP. It's these go together so much faster. This is about the size of the mandolin for the mandolin quilt that I just finished, with about like a third of the pieces that I
Right.
have to go to make it. So
Those 2-inch hexies are really lovely because you cover
They
so
go
much
right
space
to
with one. Works out very, very nicely.
yeah. So
Okay, don't forget your
yeah.
started pieces. Yesterday, we decided that, we don't have enough started. We were going to start something new because we just wanted something to get us excited about doing a project. So we both I picked a new quilt. Helen picked a quilt that she had started before. We both had started that we both want to finish, but we haven't had the time or the mind space to work on it. So she picked it up again. And the one I am working on is the Pining for You quilt. And the reason I decided to start this was because we have a whole ton of these. We got a whole bunch of them.
These are the kits. This is the
It's
kit.
a kit that has the instructions and everything, all the fabric that you need to make it. It doesn't have the batting or the backing, but it has everything else that you need. I figured, you know what? I have all of these. I'm gonna make one. It's gonna be a beautiful quilt.
Right.
So I got started yesterday. So this works with Tulip Pink's Daydreamer and some of her solids and some of her true colors. However, you don't need to worry about that because it's all in the kit for you. Everything is there that you need, which is really very, very nice because you don't have to decide which fabrics I'm going to use and where I'm going to put them. It's all written out for you.
It's the greatest thing about kits.
Yeah, really. The other thing I like about it is she has this set up so that this is basically one block using the same backing. Here is another block using the same color as the backing. And then these 4 going across here are another one using the same color as the backing. So, and on your screen, it may look like these 3 are all very similar. They're not. They are different. It just doesn't show up as well.
It's just all different shades of pink.
Yeah. So what I thought was, rather than having to cut the entire thing, what I can do is I can cut everything that I need for this block of 4 pineapples and get those done. And I'll feel like I've accomplished something without having to spend all the time cutting beforehand. So that's what I did yesterday. I took the fabrics, I got them organized, figured out which one was which, and then I took the ones that I needed because she's got this nifty little thing here that tells you need, for this block, to use backing AO. The tops are going to be U and Y, and then A, B, D, and F are the bottoms of the pineapples. And you've got everything right there. So I put together 4 pineapples yesterday. I originally thought I was going to sew it together in the block, but then I realized when she puts it together in rows. So I have the first 2 blocks of my top row.
Look at these pineapples.
Aren't they fantastic? And then the first 2 blocks of my second row. This is a beginner level quilt. You don't need to worry about cutting things into pineapple shapes or cutting things into all this. These are all squares, rectangles, and a big rectangle. And then what you do is you use another square and sew it on and cut off the excess, and you've got your pineapple cut out. It's really very, very simple. And once you get onto it, it really was very, very simple to do. It's all machine. You don't worry, this is not a hand quilting at all. This is all machine. And it didn't take me terribly long to do it. The longest it took was cutting the pieces. It didn't take terribly long, an afternoon, to put together 4 blocks, and that includes all the cutting and all that good stuff, sorting the fabric, cutting it, and everything. So look at that. So as I said, we have a whole bunch of these. We got them 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm not sure when they came out, but we got them. And
It was during COVID.
we thought, oh, this is going to be really cool. And then we didn't really do anything with it. So what we thought was, we have them. If you want to join me, we've put them on a big discount so that you get the whole kit for a really good price. And you can join me for making a quilt.
Yeah.
So I've done the first 4. You better hurry up and catch up because you've got catching up to do. But anyway, if you want one, just let us know. They're listed in the shop. It's called the Pining for You quilt by Tula Pink. And it's great if you wanted to get started on a quilt because everything is there for you.
It's a perfect summer quilt. Nice summer fabric,
Yeah.
colors, pineapples, just
And fun fabrics.
Yeah.
Really, really fun fabrics. So
and
this one.
such a feeling of accomplishment when you take all those little squares and triangles and everything. And it's like, oh my God, look, I have a pineapple.
Right, and you're going to make the 2 of the pineapples in each of the fabrics. So for this one, I have, it's one of the main focal points are the pink flamingos. So on my other one that I kept for it, I made the pink flamingos the focal point. For this one, I used the shrimp that are in between the pink flamingos. Because I thought that was very cool. And with this fabric and some of the other fabrics, they know that you're going to want to fussy cut them, so they give you a lot of fabric for it so that you can cut the piece in the middle of it if you want and not worry about getting the other pineapple out of it. This one is a jaguar. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
So this is my Pining for You quilt that I am working on, and I will continue to work on it until it's all finished. And I'm very, very happy with it. And it's something that, as I said, you pick your block with the background fabric and you have to put together 4 pineapples. That's it. And then you're done. So it's something that it's a workable goal that you can do without getting overwhelmed.
And it was
by
easy
everything.
enough to work through the pattern of all the cuts to decide I just need to cut this one thing.
Oh no,
I
she's got it written out for you that for this block you need these 4 for the pineapples. She's got it right here in it that for that particular block this is the background fabric. Those are the tops of the pineapples that you need, and those are the 4 colors that you need for the main pineapple. And then she breaks down each block, telling you exactly what you need for it. So that you can, and then at the back, they tell you exactly how the pineapples go, in what order.
Okay.
And it tells you what the backing fabric is and the front fabric, so that you know exactly what order to put them in. So it's so well done. It's
So
really,
if
really
you
well done.
want to do like what Mary Beth did and say, okay, I'm going to take an afternoon, but I want to have more to show for it than what I had to show for my afternoon, I can make a quilt. I can make a block.
I can make a block,
Yeah.
right?
And you make a block at a time.
Right. There are 10 blocks overall, so I'm 1/10 of the way done.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just a matter of putting them together as you go.
Very cool.
Yeah. No, it's really fun. It's a lot of fun.
So I took out the Mad Hatter Tea Party quilt. This was Tula's quilt kit for the Curiouser line. So it's been sitting in a bag and I decided, you know what? I really, really, really want this quilt. And I'm gonna start cutting it again. So I got through quite a bit. I think I have one more afternoon's worth of cutting and it will be
That's fantastic.
cut and then I get to just sew.
This one involves lots of little baggies labeled with pieces of fabric in it.
Yes, there are, the fabrics go from you start with fabric A, you go into AAs, through AZ, and then from BA to BL. That's how many different fabrics there are. And you cut some of these fabrics into 1-inch squares, or 1 1/4 inch rectangles, lots of little tiny pieces. Seems a little daunting, but I'm gonna have that when I'm done.
Yeah.
So,
I have mine partially cut as well. I just have to finish it.
and the ones that I have to cut now are, because I started from the back, and so I started cutting BL as my first cuts, and I mean, that one took a day in and on itself, BL, because that's the background. No, BK is the one that took forever. These are all the cuts that you make. But now I'm down to fussy cutting the fabrics that are the teapots and the teacups. So there are, number one, less pieces to cut from each fabric and smaller pieces of fabric to cut.
Right.
So it's very exciting. It'll be even more exciting when I actually sit in front of the sewing machine.
Yes. It's amazing when you actually get to start doing that.
Right. So, yep.
A whole bunch of you bought these with us.
Yeah, I
Love to know where you are with them.
I know somebody finished one because they put it up in Crafty with the Toads on Facebook. Yeah, I have cut through BL to W, so I just have A through V to cut. Which sounds like a lot, but it's not.
Well, some of it is, K through Q are all the same cut. So you can layer them and cut 3 or 4 at a time.
And you're only cutting 3 pieces from each of those.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, some of them I was cutting 26 pieces from each of them.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good once you're done.
So I'm excited. A little bit at a time.
Yep. Baby steps. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it crafting wise, right?
I think so.
I think that's covered. That's not enough.
I mean, we have been nattering on for an hour. So.
Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much it. I did want to mention that I finished a really good book, another really good book that I wanted to tell you about. It was Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. It's a great, great book. It's about a girl who has to get her family car from California to Connecticut, but she won't drive because she was in an accident that killed her father, and so her mother has moved to Connecticut, and she has a friend's son agree to drive across country with her daughter. So Roger is the son and Amy is the daughter, and the two of them, it's their road trip across the country. The mother plans that it's going to take 4 days to get across the country, and they go on a detour. And it's really, really, really good. It's all about the friendship that forms between them, the places they stop on the way. It's so interesting. And the fun thing about it is they have playlists that they use every day. So for at the end of each chapter or each section, she's got the playlist listed, so you can listen to the music at the same time if you wanted to. And her mother sends her a travel book that she can fill in that she thinks is stupid to begin with, but she does start filling it in, and she puts in all the places they go to and the states that she goes through, and it's a really nice way of keeping track of what happened in each of the states. It's so much fun. It really is. It was a lot of fun to read. So I recommend that one. I gave that one 5 stars. And then I was reading The Edens. It's a series of books. I called it Hallmark with a little bit of spice, kind of like Hallmark After Dark. And I made it through the first 3, and I gave them each 3 stars. It wasn't like mind-blowing book. It was just a fun, frothy kind of book with a little bit of spice. But the spice kept getting more and more as I went through, and by the time we got to book 4, it was basically Skinamax. It was just Seriously, there's no Hallmark left. It's just all the sex. And I wasn't in the mood for that, so I DNF'd the fourth one and just left it. For those of you that do Kindle Unlimited, they're all free on Kindle Unlimited. So it's The Edens by Devney Perry, and if you're into like a life frothy romance type book, it's kind of like the Bridgertons in that there's a big family and each child gets their own book. So you keep running into the same characters in the same town, that kind of thing. But another one comes into the forefront. So it was fun. The first three were fun. I whipped through them in no time. The fourth one it wasn't what I wanted, so I DNF'd it. But if that's the kind of thing that you like, Devney Perry, they were fun.
Cool.
All right. And you?
I finished Babel.
All right.
I finished Babel.
What did you give it in the end?
4.
Yeah, I gave it 4 stars too.
It's a very good book. It really is. It's
a bit of a slog.
It's a dense book. There's just a lot, and it's to say it's a slog. It's a slow paced book, but it's good slow pace. It's just you have to give it time to get through it. I did The Forgotten Sister on Audible. That was very, very good.
I love that one.
That was a lot of fun.
Like that
was a 2 timeline thing.
That was Nicola. Hold on, I'll give it. She does good books. Nicola Cormick. She did The Phantom Tree. Also on Audible, very, very good. Yeah. Both of them, really good.
She's very kind of known for the dual timelines.
England.
And this is you're going back to Elizabeth I and Mary and that time period.
Dudley.
We had to change Dudley's name. And the present day, and it was a fun listen. And then I did Every Summer After.
I just started it, so no, I didn't. I was going to do it. Carly Fortune.
So I started and finished reading Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. It's her debut novel. That is a lot of fun. That was a good 4-star read. It's very good for summer. It's again going back and forth between 2 people as adults and then their childhood growing up. One of them lives in a lake town, resort kind of town, and she comes for the summers and they form a friendship that turns into a romance. The thing blows up and you're kind of going back and forth to figure out why it blew up, because it's the present day and she goes back to the town to see him again. So it's good. Very, very good. Very Emily Henry-ish.
Okay.
So romance, but not Harlequin.
No, it's romance that's got more to it.
Yeah.
More meat to it. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So, chick lit.
Yeah.
So very, very good. I like that.
I nearly picked it up, but then I saw something else that I've been waiting to read, so I picked that up instead.
Okay. And then I just picked up Wayward, and I'm about 50 pages in, and already I know I'm going to love this book. I'm going to need to create a little bit of a wildlife refuge in my yard.
More so than we have.
Right. Well, we need the pollinators. We got
to figure out the pollinators.
So Mary Beth's already read it and loved it.
Love it, love it, love it.
And if for no other reason, the cover is gorgeous.
It is. So. Speaking of the wildlife, we have 2 parrots upstairs. My mom has 2 parrots, and we give them fresh seeds every day, and she sorts through the seeds, and then we toss the seeds that the birds reject out the back window, and the outside birds come and pick them up the next day. And I was tossing it out the other day, and I looked out, and there are a pair of eyes staring up at me. And Franco was back there. Franco is a raccoon.
Right.
A very large raccoon.
Yes, he is.
He's a very, very large raccoon. So, I
immediately went and got some grapes.
Well, that's what you do. I didn't have pizza, so I had to give him grapes.
Well, we have no stove to heat it up for him anyway, so.
So I threw him out some grapes, and he was very thankful. He was very appreciative. So yes, we now have a raccoon. And the other morning when I was showering, I looked out in the backyard, and Helen had planted ranunculus, and somebody came through and ate the tops of the ranunculus. There's a very, very fat, large brown rabbit in the backyard, whom I'm pretty sure is responsible. If it's not the rabbit, it's the deer. Because I was turning the car around one night. I came in, turned it around, and over in the side yard, there were like 6 or 7 deer just laying down, relaxing. Yeah.
Hugo's keeping them out of the front yard, which is good. So
Yes.
But
Our focus is on the front yard right now, but we will be expanding to the entire yard soon.
So the grand plans for the garden, people have been asking about that, have been scaled way back. Just
I had to spend a little bit of time going back and forth to a hospital, so
right. It's kind of a day-to-day. What can we get
done?
So it's going to be more of a cleanup this year, I think, because my seeds that I started kind of got neglected, so they didn't really work out. So we have some that are still
Viable,
and
hopefully.
going to come along, but we also have to figure out the whole, rabbit, deer, raccoon situation before I put them in the ground. So
It's going to be a trial and error
Right.
type of thing.
also
We may decide that we are not growing from seeds type of people and more
Right.
growing from the garden center people.
The ground is going to take some working too, so we have to figure out whether we're going to do raised beds or what we're going to do. if
Right, there are a
anything. So,
lot of
roots.
and branches and things going through underneath, so we have to decide. Also, where
I mean,
are
I
we
had
gonna
this
put things?
grand scheme that, when I was planting the ranunculus, that it was just going to be, the spade would just go smoothly through the ground like it
Kind of
does
like
for Monty Don, like
Yeah.
where he just takes his hand and separates the dirt and that kind of thing. Well, yeah, the spade went into the ground and then bounced right back off.
Rather than having
It took me
25
longer
years
to dig 3 holes for the ranunculus than it did for me to clear the area to put the holes in.
Monty Don's gardens have 25 years of loving, tender care,
Right.
and ours have 25 years of wildness. So it's going to take a little bit of time. But we will see.
Right.
We will keep you updated,
Yes.
let you know. But right now, that has kind of been a back burner.
Yeah.
Also, 2 days of torrential rain. So, but
Yeah, that's my excuse. The days I was going to work outside, well, it poured rain all day. So
the ground is going to start getting softer. Because we are the 1st of May. God, I can't believe it's the 1st of May. But happy May Day.
yes.
It's absolutely beautiful out right now.
Yeah, the sun, there's nothing like the day after a weekend of rain where the sun comes out and
Everything's clean.
blue
Smells
skies.
good. And it's 60 degrees, and it's just, it's just absolutely gorgeous. What is it out right now? It is...
And somebody who's got a little bit of cabin fever gets to go outside and stretch his legs and greet his people.
It's 60 degrees. It's just
Perfect.
beautiful.
Hoodie,
Yep.
sweatpants, perfect kind of weather.
We will be doing more stuff outside now that it's nicer.
Yeah.
Also, I want to get a table and some chairs and have it that there's a place that you can sit down and, if you want to sit out and read or sit out and cross stitch, we have something that you can do it in.
Yeah.
All right. All plans. We
Big
shall see how they
plans.
come. Okay. So I think we are just about done. I think that just about does it. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We hope you guys have a lovely rest of the week.
Go forth and create.
And hopefully you will see us
Soon.
soonish. Who knows when, but
Bye.
soonish. All right. Bye.
Bye.